Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series. Over the next few videos, I'm going to be taking a closer look at intervals. If you're working towards an ABRSM grade, or if you want to find some further examples to work on for some revision, I cover this topic in the videos for ABRSM grades 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in the appropriate sections and in increasing difficulty. You can find the links to those videos in the cards and also in the description below. There are lots of resources available on my website to help you. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets, and you can download those in US letter or A4, and they contain all the various bits of information that you will need to help you through all of those grades, and the intervals will be found within those documents as well. You can find links to the books that I have available on that website too. I've written some exam technique guidebooks, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory exam. It's full of tips and hints on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of the time on exam day. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to have a closer look at the interval of a seventh. So first of all, we're literally counting 7 steps up from C. We're in the treble clef here. We always count the bottom note as 1, so line, space, so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you count the steps that you've just done, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you can see that we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you always count the lowest note as number 1. So I'm just going to give us a few examples of that, and we can see, what we do with the interval of a seventh. So from C to B, that's a major interval. Major means greater. And C major has a key signature of no sharps, no flats, and you can see that that B is part of that major scale. However, that's not always the exact indicator, so you just need to bear in mind that C to B is a major interval because it's that larger interval with the full step C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So that would be a major seventh. And so if that's a major seventh, we can make this smaller by a semitone, and from C to B, and if we lower that B by a B flat, that's smaller, and so we would call that minor because minor is a semitone smaller. Now it's also true that in this case, B flat is part of the C major scale, because C minor scale I should say, because C minor has a key signature of B flats, E flats and A flats. So that's a minor interval, part of the minor scale. However, that's not always an indication, so it's best to just check that that's a semitone smaller than your major one. And so we can also make a minor seventh. Instead of by changing this top note, we can actually change the lower note. So from C to B is major, and then if we raise that bottom note up by a semitone, we've gone up a semitone to C sharp. We've made that interval smaller by a semitone, and so C sharp to B in a similar way is a minor seventh. We've just raised that lower note to make the interval smaller. Rather than lowering the top note, we've just shrunk the interval up from the bottom this time by a semitone. Now here we can actually make this interval bigger. So here we have our major seventh from C to B, but if we raise that B by a sharp, we've made it bigger, we've augmented that interval. So C to B sharp is an augmented seventh. Now don't be mistaken in thinking just because it's a B sharp it looks like a C. That's not the case, because we're still on this B line. It's the B note that we're replacing and raising by a semitone. We're still only 7 steps up the ladder here. So that's an augmented seventh. And again, we can augment it by changing this bottom note. And instead of having C to B, If we lower this by a semitone, it's a C flat. It's still on this C line. We're using the enharmonic equivalent to the B because we're just lowering. It's the C that we're replacing, so C flat to B. Although it looks like we're going B to B, we're not, because we're on this C line here. And so that would be also an augmented seventh. Now then, let's just go back to this minor seventh here, and we can do a little bit more with this also. So C to B is our major. We lower the top note to make it minor, but we can also shrink that interval further. So we've gone from C to B major, C to B flat, minor, and then if we raise this lower note by a semitone to C sharp, we've made the interval smaller again. We've diminished this interval further, so C sharp to B flat is now a diminished seventh, because we've made that interval smaller again by raising that bottom note. So let's have a look at these in context. So I'm just going to sketch out the scale of A minor. Give myself a good couple of octaves now, because we're going to have a big interval and I want to just straddle that over the middle of the scale pattern. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, keep going, A, B, C, D, E, that'll do. We needn't get to the whole octave. And we could either make this natural minor and keep it as it is, or I'll raise the seventh and make it a harmonic minor. So now I'm going to go from C to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we know that that's a major seventh. We've worked that out already. So although it's part of the minor scale, we take this bottom note here as our key note, as our starting point, and we're counting from C to B. So the fact that it's within that A minor scale is irrelevant, because we're not counting from A, we're counting from this C. So you always count this bottom note as your first. So you can see that the major seventh can be found within the minor scale pattern. And let's write out another scale. Let's write out B flat major. So I'll give myself a good couple of octaves again. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Probably don't need all of those, but we'll just keep going. So B flats, 2 octaves, and then E flats. That's our key signature dealt with. And so now if we count from C up a seventh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going from C to B flat, which we know is a minor seventh. It's a semitone smaller than the major seventh, so that's a minor seventh, even though it's found within a major scale pattern, because again we've got to count this note here as our starting point. We're counting from C as our first, so even though we're in B flat major, the fact that the scale starts on B flat is irrelevant. We're starting our interval from this part of the scale and counting upwards. And so you just have to be careful. Don't presume that because it's in a major key it will necessarily have to be a major seventh, because C is our starting point and C major would not have that B flat as part of it. We've made it smaller and therefore it's a minor seventh. So hopefully that's helped you to clarify the topic of intervals of a seventh. If you want to find more practice on this subject, you'll find links to the videos that I've done covering this in the description below and also in the cards. Do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resources and information there available to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.